something to note here is that Whitney's coming off an 18-month layoff, whereas Nicole has been very active, and it should be interesting to see if that's going to play a factor.
It's just
big right hand landed. Oh, a lot of pressure.
It's written wrong. Okay, don't confuse me. Sorry there. I know there's a fight going on, Charles, but they had it on the paper wrong at 5 rounds and 3 minutes each, but it's 3 5-minute rounds.
Right.
We don't change the number of rounds, we just change the time.
Well, in that time, Whitney's landed some hard shots, and she is relentless.
Wow.
Constantly landing shots, but Nicole rode that storm. The ref was looking to stop the fight, but he was able to slow it down and wait.
Wow, Whitney Pyles has come out like a ball of fire, hasn't she?
She's coming out very hard, and you know, you got to be a little concerned about the cardio in a 5-minute round. But she's on top right now, and she is in a dominant position. Nicole's right eye is already swelling up. She ate that big shot, and as the fight continues, as the time progresses, that will only get worse and affect her vision, and it's gonna hinder her ability to see the shots come over from that side.
Whitney in total control. She's fighting out of the red corner. Nicole in the blue corner, fighting out of the Badel Academy in Washington, D.C. Nicole sitting on her back, and really looks like she's struggling. She's going to get so tired.
Well, you know, she's actually doing a decent job. She's using her leverage. She's not muscling too much. She's taking advantage of this to recover. Now, that move right there, what Whitney was doing, she's using a lot of explosive, high-impact movements. That's something that will tire you out much quicker. You know, she's not able to do any damage. This has been a really good opportunity for Nicole to recover. And after that initial onslaught and heavy shots, you have to wonder if Whitney, had an adrenaline dump. Nicole's riding high for the armbar. She cleared the arm. Now she's switching to a triangle. She needs to clear her other arm and use that arm that she cleared to pull her foot down and create the pressure. Just like that, right there. She's making the adjustment. She needs to step off the hip and get to her side. She's got the choke, but she needs to create a little bit more leverage. See how she's hooking that leg?
Yeah, she's trying.
She needs to move to her side, and that's going to allow her to, she's going to transition to the armbar right here. Good adjustment. All right, now there's pressure. Now there's a lot of pressure. She's got to grab the head, grab the left leg with her left hand and the head with her right hand, and that'll really let her pull and create less space.
Very technical, Nicole, on the ground. Great job.
And there's the arm. She needs to extend that arm if she's going to go for it, or she needs to clear it on the other side of her hips and use it as a lever against the carotid so she could really start to constrict this airway. Because right now it's uncomfortable, but Whitney's riding and she's stacking her and she's creating space as she does this.
Ooh, good right. Back to that same eye.
See, if you look, Whitney's going to be able to get out of this here unless Nicole makes some adjustments. There's a lot of space over Whitney's right shoulder, and now it's no longer choking her. It's setting her up for the armbar. Now Nicole's going to take her right leg, push off Whitney's hip, and try to create that angle again that we were talking about earlier.
Just an open face as Nicole just throws blows to Whitney's face. This is just a bad spot for Whitney and a bad spot for Nicole.
Yeah, well, you know, for Nicole, she really just needs to make a couple small adjustments, and the pressure's going to be enough. Right there. See, as she goes to that side, you could actually physically see there's less space.
Yeah.
And now she's going to extend for the armbar.
She can get that arm bent down.
Yeah. She's got to squeeze. Whitney's almost out. She needs to really put together one squeeze, clear the arms, and pick what she's going to do. By choosing between the armbar and the triangle, she's limiting the amount of pressure she can apply. You either need to commit to the armbar or commit to the choke and take the angle necessary to get that type of pressure.
But like you said, every time she commits to the choke that she's got right here, you see it tighten up and you see her change colors.
She's got the choke. She just has to make these small adjustments to finish it. And now you can see that her foot, her right calf is hanging a little bit too low on her foot. She needs to flex her foot up and then squeeze down with her leg, creating a stronger lever, and that's going to give more pressure. By having her foot soft, there's more space, there's inches, but that's all Whitney needs to survive.
Now she's trying now to move that leg up.
And it's just, you know, when you were talking earlier about just not quitting, this is a really good example because Whitney's been, since almost winning the fight, she has been in a bad position this entire time. And since almost losing a fight, Nicole managed to put a very, very good attack on her for this entire time.
Very smart and methodical from Nicole on her back like that to really probably save this round.
It's rare that you see such good defense for so long. But
Victor Matamala brings both fighters right back out to the middle of the cage. Nicole fighting out of the red corner, Whitney fighting out of the blue corner. She's got black gloves with blue tape and black gloves with red tape for Nicole.
Whitney's looking for that hard right hand.
Yeah, and Nicole looks a little timid on that because she got stung. Both fighters standing right in the middle of the cage. Little quick jab by Whitney.
A good slip and rip.
Whitney throws her punches for real.
She does, but Nicole just landed a pretty serious jab as well.
Ooh, right got through.
And see, there's that adjustment. She landed the right hand. What did she do? She backed away. She avoided the counter, and she didn't overcommit herself. This is where you really pick somebody apart and start to play the long game.
5-minute rounds seem like an eternity when you're in there.
You know, honestly, it seems like an eternity sometimes when you're watching. You just got to wonder how hard people can go for what pace. You know, and that first round was a very high impact round as far as their body's concerned. You know, Nicole going for that triangle. Whitney fighting it off.
Yeah.
A lot of lactic acid builds up in the muscles. Whitney's going to town, though, and she's landing some real hard shots right here. One thing Nicole's doing is she's throwing the kick. She's leading with the kick. That's going to give Whitney the opportunity to counter because her hands aren't up. She's checking something low and then coming high.
Whitney's hands very quick, very up in her face the entire fight.
Yes.
Just very quick hands coming from Pyles. Nicole making a push here.
She's looking for that counter hook, but, you know, unfortunately, you need to kind of you need to do a little bit more baiting. You know, if you are going to make the mistake of throwing that lead leg kick, then you actually can follow it up with that counter hook because you know she's going to come back with the counter. It's kind of like chess. You know, you're going to sacrifice the pawn to, you know, take the queen.
Ooh, good right hand.
And again, right there, she threw that front kick without setting it up, and she ate 3 hard counters. The catch-22 is, as you get hit, you want to keep people at range. So the best way to do that is to throw your kicks. However, that's what's leading you to get countered.
Another right and left combination from Pyles. Well, Nicole trying to keep her distance, but she seemed like when she was on the ground, she was the smarter fighter. She seemed like she was technically sound on the ground. Why not try to dive in here and put Whitney on her back?
Well, you know, I don't disagree. I think you have to change it up because right now you're getting picked apart, and she continues to throw that kick without setting it up, and I can't emphasize enough how that is the catalyst to what is happening here. It's giving Whitney the time she needs to throw that jab and then follow with the cross. And you're seeing that impact and that damage very physically right now on Nicole.
And Nicole's punches, they go in there and they seem like they stay. It's like they're not coming back out. They're not very quick, and Whitney has plenty of time to counter, and counter 2 or 3 times.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. That's a great point. You know, she's throwing a one hard shot, and then
it
maybe
stays.
Yeah, she kind of keeps it out there. Whereas Whitney's really putting the volume together.
Ooh, good kick to the midsection. Looks like a little blood coming from the nose of Nicole. Just underneath. I can't tell. It looks like maybe the right nostril. Swollen eye on the right side.
Yeah, she has some very physical signs of damage. You know, Whitney, though, she could put a little bit more volume together. She might be able to put this away. And right there, that was a great check. Follow that up. You know, Nicole's still throwing that kick out without setting it up. She's looking for the counter hook. Keep your right hand up if you're Whitney, and then throw it right after that counter hook comes.
Ooh.
Good check kick landed.
Good front
I'm sorry,
kick.
question mark kick.
Both fighters standing toe-to-toe right in the middle of the cage. Nicole Aguirre in the black gloves with the red tape. Whitney Pyles, black gloves, blue tape. They stand toe-to-toe. Little blood coming from the nose of Nicole. Not a very exciting round as the first round, but still technically sound. Nobody got cleaned up. And I think they did the same thing that we saw earlier, Charles, where there's a bell. They make their way right out to the middle of the cage.
Good kick by Nicole. Hard counter by Whitney.
Whitney jumping in there quick. Nothing like being at the fights.
Good push kick by Whitney.
Just never know where you're going to get beat up. Both girls toe-to-toe right here in the middle of the cage.
You know, Nicole's coming out, and she certainly looks like the fresher fighter. She's moving a little bit better. Whitney's a little bit tentative now, and this is what we talked about. Nicole knows she can go the distance. We know that she will dig deep. She's got that heart. And Whitney, she hasn't fought in a long time. It's been over 18 months. She needed to be aware of this, and she needs to change something or throw some more volume to at least control the pace. If she can control the pace, she can control the outcome. Right now, Nicole is controlling the pace, which hopefully will allow her to put the fight into her terms.
And it might be, like you said, Whitney looks like she's breathing a little harder now. Like not a lot, just a little heavier as Nicole throws some punches and kicks. She's got her mouth open, the jaw down low like you were talking about earlier in some fights. And just her hands, the way she's not as aggressive as she was in round 1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, she's conserving a little energy. She knows she's got about 4 minutes left in this fight, but you also got to know that you need to be active here because this round is really going to decide it. You know, the first round could go either way.
Oh,
but
she slipped again.
Kick. But, you know, ultimately, you need to do a little bit more than this to really figure out what's going to happen.
And let me tell you, last 2 times, I don't know if she's got kicked down, but she slipped down. And normally in the past, in another fight, you would have seen a fighter try to jump on that fighter on the ground. Whitney didn't want to have anything to do with that ground.
No, that's a great point. A part of that is because you saw in that first round how much of an advantage, you know, Nicole had. I mean, she just really couldn't. You know, Whitney wasn't able to do anything on the ground. So why follow her there? I actually agree with that decision. You know, keep it on the feet. That's where you have the advantage.
Little smile from Whitney now as a couple of kicks that landed on the thigh. I don't know what she thought was funny. Guess it didn't sting her.
Well, she feels
now
like
she's really smiling. Like this is a fun time. Look, she's like, hey, look here. We're
Ooh, big right hand
good
landed.
Right. And now she's just having a good time.
Well,
hey, look here. I'm in a title fight on television.
Maybe she knows something I don't.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she's enjoying herself out there. And that right hand might have rocked Nicole.
Yeah,
I would have liked
did.
to see Whitney follow up a little bit more.
That's what I don't understand. Ooh, good kick from Nicole.
It's given her a second win.
You better another one of these dancing machines here because you don't know if you've won or not. Nicole really concentrating, trying to slide one in. Whitney moving things.
Good jab.
Maybe Whitney's now she's going to start trying to play this in. Maybe she's been baiting all of us.
Well, she's
got about 2 minutes to get it done.
She's putting a really good pace together now, and she's certainly controlling the round.
Not as exciting as round number 1. Somebody's going to need to do something to make a decision because right now this is going to be hard for the judges. I know Whitney's, it looks like she's landed a few, but maybe she feels like she hasn't won.
Well, if she keeps doing this, she's got a very good argument. You know, the second round was pretty much undoubtedly hers. So this really comes down to this round, and she's putting a pretty good pace on. She's controlling the fight, and she's landing the harder shots. You know, Nicole, she started off pretty good movement, but now she's kind of slowing down a little bit, and Whitney seems to be taking over.
Very relaxed, smiling now, having a good time, laughing at her. Nicole's corner is screaming at her to make something happen.
Well, she's losing the fight, you know, and she's not changing the scenery. You know, she's not changing the terms of the fight. She's kind of settling for the striking battle, which unfortunately she just wasn't winning. You know, she had a dominant ground advantage, but she never brought it back there.
Well, this one's going to be a tough one, but I'm going to have to say, if I was sitting down just from the last 2 rounds.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard for a decision. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for both these fighters putting on a great show. All right, here we go. Judge 1 scores the bout 28-29. Judge 2 scores the bout 28-29. And Judge 3 scores the bout 29-28 for your winner by split decision. Out of the blue corner, Whitney Pyles!
Well, we saw that one coming. The more aggressive fighter. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk about what happened with one of the title fights and the main event. We'll see you in just a second.